Hello once again, friends and enemies, and welcome back to Weird Deck Techs. Today we're going to be talking about a fiend-based archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! Known as Evil Eye. The Evil Eye archetype is a weird one for sure. It's a toolboxy type deck that kind of revolves around the equip spell Evil Eye of Selene and has a little bit of graveyard shenanigans, but overall the deck doesn't really have too much to it. It doesn't seem to have a lot going on. But let's go ahead and take a look at the deck today and see if we can figure out how this archetype plays and if we can make it better. So here we have it, my pure build Evil Eye deck. Let's go ahead and take a look at the deck and see what's going on with it. If you haven't been here before, I go over every single card and tell you how it works, then we take a look at some gameplay, and then we talk about the deck a little bit. Starting us off, we got 3 copies of Yugioh, Watcher of the Evil Eye. When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 Evil Eye card from your deck to your hand, except Yugioh. If this card is equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, quick effect, you can target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls and destroy it. You can only use this effect of Yugioh once per turn. Once per turn during the next standby phase after this effect was activated, destroy 1 card you control. 3 copies of Medusa, Watcher of the Evil Eye. When this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 Evil Eye in your graveyard except Medusa, add it to your hand. If this card is equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, quick effect, you can target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it. You can only use this effect of Medusa once per turn. Once per turn during the next standby phase after this effect was activated, banish 1 card in your graveyard. 3 copies of Basilitrice, Familiar of the Evil Eye. If you control an Evil Eye monster and this card is in your hand or graveyard, quick effect, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. During your opponent's turn, you can, quick effect, immediately after this effect resolves, link summon 1 Evil Eye Link monster using monsters you control as material. When you do, you can also use Evil Eye equip spells you control as Evil Eye monsters. You can only use each effect of Basilitrice, Familiar of the Evil Eye, once per turn. 3 copies of Ketoblapas, Familiar of the Evil Eye. You can target 1 Evil Eye spell trap you control once until the end of the next turn. That card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. If you control an Evil Eye monster other than Ketoblapas, while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Ketoblapas once per turn. I will never get used to saying that name. Ketoblapas. I won't, no. Last, for monsters of the deck, we got 3 copies of Basilius, Familiar of the Evil Eye. If you control an Evil Eye monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Basilius once per turn this way. During your main phase, you can send 1 Evil Eye spell trap from your deck to the graveyard. You can use this effect once per turn. So all of the monsters of the deck, in my opinion, are pretty generic. I do really like Yugioh, and I think Basilitrice being an Evil Eye Link creation just on quick effect is pretty decent. Although I see some problems with how this deck works already, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Moving on to spell and traps, we've got 3 copies of Evil Eye Repose, a continuous spell. When you activate this card, you can banish 1 Evil Eye from your graveyard, draw 1 card. Once per turn, after damage calculation, if your Evil Eye monster equipped with Evil Eye of Selene attacked an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster. I got a little messed up there because on the computer, the colon looks like a period because the top dot meshes with the R. If this card in the spell and trap zone is destroyed by a card effect, you can target up to 1 of your banished Evil Eye cards, return them to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 Repose per turn. Next up, we got 1 copy of Evil Eye of Gorgoneo. An equip spell, equip only to an Evil Eye monster, you can activate 1 Gorgoneo per turn. This card's name becomes Evil Eye of Selene while in the spell and trap zone. While your life points are lower than your opponent's, the equipped monster gains attack equal to the difference. You can banish this card from your graveyard and discard 1 Evil Eye card, add 1 Evil Eye spell trap from your deck to your hand, except Gorgoneo. You can only use this effect of Gorgoneo once per turn. Now, I only put 1 copy of Gorgoneo in here because even though it's the only other equip spell aside from Eye of Selene, Gorgoneo doesn't seem to do much, and as far as I've seen so far, the monsters don't really do much when they're equipped with Selene anyway, except for, of course, Basilitrice, which lets you use the equip spells as link materials. I don't know, I might be crazy, but I feel like Gorgoneo isn't worth it, even if it does count as Selene. It just seems like a bad equip spell, but that's just my opinion. 3 copies of Evil Eye of Selene, an equip spell. Equip only to an Evil Eye monster, it cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. Each time you activate the equipped monster's effect, or you activate another Evil Eye spell trap card, the equipped monster gains 500 attack, and if it does, you lose 500 life points. This attack gain remains even if this card leaves the field. If this card is in your graveyard, you can pay 1,000 life points, then banish one Evil Eye spell trap from your graveyard, except Selene. Set this card. You can only use this effect of Selene once per turn. 3 copies of Evil Eye Domain Pareidolia, a field spell. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Evil Eye monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, during damage calculation, if your Evil Eye monster is attacked, while Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell and trap zone, you can make the battle damage you take from this battle also inflicted to your opponent. If this card in the field zone is destroyed by card effect, you can target 1 Evil Eye monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only activate 1 Pareidolia per turn. 2 copies of Evil Eye Awakening. Special summon 1 Evil Eye monster from your hand or graveyard, or if Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell and trap zone, you can special summon 1 Evil Eye monster from your deck instead. You can only activate 1 Awakening per turn. 2 copies of Reemergence. Special summon 1 Familiar of Evil Eye token, or if Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell and trap zone, you can special summon 2 instead. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except Fiend monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Your opponent cannot target Evil Eye spell traps you control with card effects this turn. You can only use each effect of Reemergence once per turn. 3 copies of Evil Eyes Unleashed. Send 1 Evil Eye monster and 1 Evil Eye spell trap from your deck to the graveyard. Add 1 Evil Eye equip spell from your deck to your hand. But for the rest of this turn, each time you activate a non-Evil Eye card or effect, you lose 500 life points. If you link summon an Evil Eye Link monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, equip 1 Evil Eye equip spell from your graveyard to 1 Evil Eye Link monster you control. You can only use each effect of Evil Eyes Unleashed per turn. I think this card works okay if you're able to get Selene or Gorgoneo into the graveyard. Obviously, this deck is supposed to work with 3 copies of Gorgoneo and 3 copies of Selene, but I feel like Gorgoneo still is not that good of a card to be put in this deck, but maybe I'm crazy. Last for spells, 2 copies of Evil Eye Confrontation, a quick play spell. If you control an Evil Eye monster, target 1 spell trap your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, and Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell and trap zone, banish that destroyed card. You can only activate 1 confrontation per turn. Moving on to traps, the last part of the deck, we start off with 1 copy of Evil Eye Mesmerism, a continuous trap. When your opponent special summons a monster, activate this card by targeting 1 of those summoned monsters in attack position with less attack than an Evil Eye monster you control. Take control of that monster. When that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. When Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell and trap zone, that targeted monster is treated as an Evil Eye monster. You can only activate 1 Mesmerism per turn. We have 3 copies of Evil Eye Retribution, a counter trap. When a spell trap card is activated while you control an Evil Eye monster, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. If Selene is in your spell and trap zone, this card's activation and effect cannot be negated. You can only activate 1 Retribution per turn. And finishing off the main deck, we have 2 copies of Evil Eye Defeat. If you control an Evil Eye monster, target 1 monster on the field, or up to 2 instead if Selene is in your spell and trap zone. Return them to the hand. You can only activate 1 defeat per turn. So obviously the main deck is filled with cards that can only be activated once per turn or something like that, but let's take a look at the extra deck and see how that helps us. Starting us off in the extra deck, we've got 3 copies of Zerziel, Ruler of the Evil-Eyed, a Link monster requiring 2 or more Evil Eye monsters. If this card was link summoned using a monster with 2600 or higher attack as a material, it can make a second attack during each battle phase. If this card is equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, quick effect, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use this effect of Zerziel once per turn. Once per turn during the next standby phase after this effect was activated, negate the effect of 1 effect monster this card currently points to. I feel like Zerziel acts as a pretty good boss monster for the deck. You can use itself as one of its link materials. You can use another Evil Eye if that Evil Eye has gotten a decent enough attack as one of the materials to get that first effect going off. And I feel like the last effect is pretty decent. It might not hit all the time. It probably won't hit a lot of the time actually, but it seems like a decent-ish effect. So I think this is meant to be the boss monster of the deck. Lastly, for the extra deck, we have 3 copies of Gorgon, Empress of the Evil-Eyed, a link monster requiring 2 monsters, including an Evil Eye monster. So one of them doesn't necessarily have to be an Evil Eye. Gains 100 attack for each Evil Eye card with different names in your graveyard. If this card is equipped with Selene, quick effect, you can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. You can only use this effect of Gorgon once per turn. Once per turn during the next standby phase after this effect was activated, destroy 1 monster this card points to. So the extra deck seems to help us out with getting those residential negates for effect monsters just not as good as some other monsters that we could use. So let's go ahead and take a look at how the deck works, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more afterward. Alright, so starting us off here, we've got an okay looking hand. We can start off by normal summoning either our Catoblipos or our Medusa. Once we get one of those out, we can go ahead and special summon our Basiltris. We can set both of the trap cards in our hand face down. After that, we can choose to link summon our Gorgon, which might make you want to keep your Medusa into your hand until after this turn. So our Basiltris gets banished, but our other monster will go to the graveyard, making our Gorgon just an automatic 2000. And if we assume that we're going first, we obviously don't have Evil Eye of Selene equipped, so we can't use its negate effect, but we can go ahead and wait until next turn. Luckily for us, during our opponent's turn, both of our trap cards that we have can help us out with monsters and spell and traps, just not if our opponent is playing a super consistent deck. And then on our turn, we draw our Pareidolia, which will just get us an extra monster into our hand. So overall, not the best hand for this deck at all, it seems. I can definitely see why this deck isn't really played. It doesn't seem like it would do much, but let's go ahead and talk about the deck for a bit. Alright, so thoughts on the deck, thoughts on the archetype. Obviously, this deck is not the best deck in existence, and I could probably benefit from having 2 more copies of Gorgoneo in my deck, but I'm not sure if that really would have helped all too much. That being said, I'd probably put something like Hidden Armory or Armory Control in this deck, most likely Hidden Armory. Of course, you can put in some Fiend support for this deck, but overall, I'm not sure if this deck would be too powerful. As for the archetype, to make it a little better, I'm not sure if there's much else that could be done. I mean, printing more equip cards for the Evil Eyes obviously would be the straight lace solution. If most of the spell and trap cards revolve around Evil Eye Selene, and if the link monsters revolve around Evil Eye Selene, then it should be easier for us to get Evil Eye of Selene out. So there should be other cards that can help us get it out aside from just Hidden Armory. Aside from that, I feel like some of these monsters could just be condensed with some of the spell and trap cards. If we had half of the deck be monsters and the other half be mostly equip spells, it would probably work out a little bit better than it does now. Although those are just the opinion of a guy that generally plays casually. Overall, I'm not sure. I don't really like this deck. It's kind of aesthetically pleasing. I might play it if I had a little more interest in it, but overall, this deck doesn't really interest me all that much. But let me know how you feel about the deck. Tell me if this is an interesting deck to you. If you've played the deck, let me know your strategies down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was at least of some enjoyment to you, and until next time, drink your water.